Welcome back to the President's Halftime Show with the University of Nebraska President Jeff Gold, and we'll be catching up each week with what's happening across the university, and very happy to have Dr. Gold with us. President Gold, let's start by talking about last week's game against Akron, our first home game of the season, a shutout for the Huskers. What were some of your favorite moments in that game?
Well, it was absolutely electric. I love being with the fans. Matt, I try to go down to the field on the fourth quarter and get to give the coach a big hug and say hi to Dylan and others. And the atmosphere was absolutely electric. It was a great game for us, of course, but hopefully a catapult to the rest of the season. And obviously here at halftime, here we are. 38-0.
Well, speaking of being successful and speaking of winning, University of Nebraska is in the middle of a friendly competition to see which Big Ten university donates the most blood. Last year, Nebraska won that, and I know you're very proud of that. We're off and running now through early December when the contest ends. Can you share more about how listeners can help support Nebraska in this effort?
Sure. Well, at the moment, unfortunately, we are number 2, and that doesn't please us greatly because I know how generous and how caring Nebraskans are. So, you don't need to be a student, faculty, or staff member. You can be on any of our campuses. You can be an alumni. You can be a friend. You can be a next-door neighbor's cousin of a friend. It doesn't make any difference. The way you do it, and here's the deal, is you go to big10, all one word, .org/Abbott, or you text the words donate to Abbott, ABBOTT, and here's the number, 222-688. I'm going to repeat that, Matt, 222-688, and then it tells you exactly what to do. And, just like we're going to win today, we're going to win this contest as well.
I have great confidence in Husker fans to do that. Dr. Gold, I heard last week about major budget cuts, which will impact programs and departments across campus. What can you tell us about the budget cuts?
Well, after a very long and very complex legislative session, the Board of Regents passed our budget last June, and now we're just dealing with the consequences of that. There were areas of positive news and enrollment that we talked about last week, but the reality is we have to balance the budget. And, our thoughts and prayers are with all those that are impacted by this, and these are really hard decisions. But at the end of the day, we're going to have a balanced budget and have enough dry powder to go forward and continue to build this great university system.
Well, I know you see the spirit of partnership alive and well at Husker Harvest Days, which just wrapped up this week. You were there earlier. What was that experience like for you?
Well, that was wild. This was just outside of Grand Island, and I had the privilege of putting on my best boots and my hat and heading out to Harvest Days, and I had the opportunity to meet with hundreds and hundreds of friends of the university, and then took a tour with our Farm Bureau colleagues, and I saw some of the biggest darn farm equipment I'd ever seen in my life, let me tell you. And I couldn't go anywhere without people telling me how great the university is, how important it is, how we need to continue to build, and of course, we're all over that.
Husker Harvest Days is all about agriculture. Let's talk a little bit about the University of Nebraska's tradition of agricultural innovation, which is really been around for decades and decades, hasn't it?
Well, even more than that, Matt. We're 155 years of being a land-grant university system, which means that we have a responsibility to continue to support through education such as 4-H, work and research, to support the agricultural sector, which, of course, is one of the most important economic sectors in our state. We are 10th in the nation. The ag sector represents a good third or maybe even slightly more of the economy of the state of Nebraska. And, as I tour our 83 extension sites across the state, just as you may recall recently out west over the summer, out in Chadron and Alliance and Gearing and even through Scotts Bluff and others, I get reminded every day of how important the ag sector is and how important it is for us to continue to support them. And that support will be unwavering. We talked a minute ago about budget cuts and reductions, and, we tend to focus on that. But I also want to focus on the strengths of this great university, and our partnership is intimate, truly intimate with the ag sector.
Great stuff. Well, I have enjoyed talking to you. This has been fun. Always enjoy visiting with President Jeff Gold at halftime, and let's keep it going here in the second half, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And next week's going to be a big game for us. We've got an extra special halftime event to talk about next week, so look forward to being with you.